Look, it doesn't take some genius to know that the game was fixed. Any idiot could see that. And I'm not just some idiot. I'm the guy who fixed it. I'm Big Dave.
I mean, it's crazy. Fixed? I mean, no way. No way. I mean, yeah, baseball has had its share of controversies and scandals over the years, but we would tell you if there was a fixed game. Yeah, we didn't tell you. We didn't come clean about all those other things over the years, but this time we mean it. We're a new baseball. I mean, was it a strange game that day? Maybe, you could say that, but then baseball's always been a strange game. It always will be a strange game. They could have called it strange ball if they didn't call it baseball. I mean, second choice probably, runner-up. If you really look at what happened that day, if you break it down play by play, it all starts to make a little bit more sense. I'll say that.
I was working for Tommy the Scorpion Fantelli in Chicago. Don't ask me doing what. Let's just say I was in the collection business and I had a reputation for being the best when it comes to breaking thumbs. Anyway, one day, Tommy comes to me and says, I want the Cubs to lose on Saturday. What am I going to say no to Tommy the Scorpion? So, I hopped right to it, getting in touch with the right peoples what fixes games.
June 3rd. First off, it was a peculiar day for a variety of reasons, environmentally speaking. There was a high pressure front that was coming in that was off the charts. I don't want to be the guy that sits here and says, there was something in the air that day, but there was something in the air that day. I mean, that kind of high pressure is documented to mess with people's minds and bodies. It's science. You don't argue with science. If you do, you die.
All we had to do was lean on the right guys and the dominoes fell. Top of the second, high fly ball left. Routine play for Kyle Schwarber to make. Looks like he's got a good read on it. He settles under the ball. And what happens? It falls at least 6 feet in front of him. That kind of thing don't just happen.
That kind of thing just happens. I mean, the sun was beating down on him bad. He got a wrong read off the bat, obviously. And it's my understanding that he was experimenting with not wearing sunglasses that day. And let's face it, that experiment was a failure. A big, fat failure.
Bottom of the third, George Soler gets a base hit. Decides for reasons that may have something to do with the large sum of cash that he received shortly before the game that he is going to try and turn it into a double. It does not go well for George Soler. He's thrown out by a mile. It's not even close.
You got to be aggressive sometimes, you know? He was just trying to force the issue. The play was a lot closer than it looked on TV, I'll also say. He almost snuck in there.
The big one we had in our pocket was Arrieta, the Cubs starting pitcher. And we were actually sweating it for a while too because he was pitching pretty good up until the top of the fourth. But then the wheels come off like they should. He starts walking everyone, and I mean everyone. He walks in one run, then he walks in two, then he uncorks some wild pitches. Then he hits a guy and walks in another. I mean, hello? We wanted him to be subtle about it, but this was pretty obvious.
Control is a funny thing for a pitcher, you know? 1 minute you got it, the next you don't. Arrieta, he was also going through a lot of personal issues at the time, and he was messed up real bad. We shouldn't get into it. I mean, I'm not a doctor, as you know, but I could say that he was super duper manic depressive.
Then there's the inside the park home run. Fowler's coming in on a ball in center. Makes this weird sort of jump way too early, and then, as he's going back to get the ball after it rolled past him, he takes a dive. No one is there to back him up, and the guy races around the bases.
Well, he tripped, obviously. There was an ill-placed rock in center that jutted out, and Fowler tripped over it, and nobody got over to help him because they didn't think to bother, or they were tired. Or maybe they thought it was time that Fowler cleaned up his own mess for a change.
But then, somehow, the Cubs rallied to tie the game in the eighth. So, in the ninth, the fix got obvious. Probably too obvious. Ground ball to third, nobody on. But then the throw goes to second for some reason? That's not baseball.
He thought there was a man on. He must have just spaced on that one. We all got a lot of pressure on us, okay?
Then on the game winner, Fowler doesn't even bother trying to throw the guy out at home. Doesn't even throw the ball at all. He just stands there holding it. Then, for some reason, he takes off towards the center field stance.